The Void, Series 1, Episode 2. Who the Hell is Buck Rogers? Chapter 14. It had taken some thought on his behalf, but Carter had come to a decision about his future. He still wasn't sure about it, but, as he reasoned, better than the alternative. It did sound interesting, even though it was quite different to what he was used to doing. Sure, some of his skills were transferable, but there would be a great deal to learn. Dwelling on his family, he thought about how Karen would have wanted for him to do something with his newfound life, even though the absence of her made his heart ache. She had fought the inevitable to keep him alive, even though she would never see him again. But he had made this choice out of obligation. He had made it because he felt it was the best way for him to progress, and work towards assimilating himself into this strange environment. Carter had, with some assistance from Kane, messaged Commander Void with his intentions through the datasphere. He figured she would be too busy to visit, but he felt it was the right thing to do to at least let her know about his decision. He was surprised that she promised to do exactly that, although her timing would have to be fluid. And so he waited patiently for her. He filled the time practicing bending, his back, his knees, and his elbows. The stream played on the wall, a documentary about the fill-in playing. It had been edited slightly, cutting out a few elements of historical content which Kane had explained were due to protocol. It frustrated him, but there was little he could do about it at the moment. He paused his exercise periodically to sit and watch it a bit more intently, learning a bit more about their biology. Since he had met Dr. Lux Pang in passing, he had felt an insatiable urge to learn more about them. The fill-in was so unlike anything he had expected of alien life. It filled him with wonder and curiosity. The first meeting had staggered him, but only because he was unprepared for it. Now he had recovered from that, he was eager to learn more. Eventually, the door notification sounded, and he lumbered over to the portal to open it. "My apologies for the delay, Mr. Vincent." "It's okay. I know our meetings tend to overrun," he dismissed. "I'm just pleased you could find the time to visit." "Some things are better done face-to-face, don't you think?" Commander Void expressed. "Messaging is too impersonal for this sort of thing." "Always a good way to build relationships," Carter acknowledged. "I'm pleased that you've decided to go for the cultural advisor role. I think it would be a good way for you to get back into society," Voight indicated. "Now, there are other candidates, so you're not guaranteed anything, but you do have one advantage over the others." "Oh, what's that?" "The others are all light years away." Carter laughed heartily at this. Voight grinned quietly, pleased that she provoked good humor. "I never thought being marooned in space would enhance my job prospects," he chuckled. "If you are successful in your application, it will be at a novice level, which does mean that the pay would be less than someone with experience." "I've absolutely no idea how currency works in this day and age." "You should enroll yourself in a money management course. The Learning Center will be able to help you with that," Voight informed. "Now, the money may be on the low end, but that will be offset somewhat by the fact that you won't need to pay for your living quarters." "If it's as nice as this place, that's fine by me." "It will be quite an intense training period as well. You'll need to do a lot of studying as well, as there's a lot to learn." "Suits me. It'll stop me brooding," Carter shrugged. "But do I have a realistic chance of getting it?" "I think so, yes," Voight stated. "You lack knowledge, true, but I believe you used to be involved in negotiations." "All the time. Did my research too." "Which will stand you in good stead. Practical life experience may be invaluable in a way that academia cannot," Voight reasoned. "You will have to work hard to impress the panel, but it is achievable." "I'll give it my best." "Good. There will be a series of tests as well, but they will be focused more on your abilities rather than your knowledge. They're intended to gauge your capacity for learning the role rather than what you have already learned." "Like intelligence tests?" "Among other traits. Like I stated, communication skills are important too." "That I'm good at," Carter professed. "Then I wish you luck with your application," Voight blessed. "I hope we can work together in the future." "And I appreciate everything you and your crew have done for me," Carter thanked. "It's been grueling to say the least, but you've all been doing your best to ameliorate that." "That's what we're here for, Mr. Vincent. One of the Republic's core values is to ensure we enrich the lives of our citizens, not just a select few," Voight eulogized. It's a lofty aspiration and sometimes we fall short, but we do try our best. Well, it's appreciated by me at least. How are you getting on with your rehabilitation? Carter looked down with his caged legs mournfully. It's slow going, but there's progress. It'll be a while before I can move about without the scaffolding. And how are you doing emotionally? Honestly, it's up and down all the time at the moment. When I'm down, it feels like I'm never going to stop grieving for the loss of my family, and it feels like an abyss. At the same time, even with the aches and pains I have now, I feel so much more alive than I did before. You can't imagine how much pain I was in. Not to diminish your distress, but you seem to be coping well, all things considered. I've always used my humour to disguise my pain, I'll admit that, Carter sighed. But the trouble with that is it only works when there's someone else around. When you're alone, that's when it starts to creep up on you. You don't have to suffer alone, Mr. Vincent. We will do everything we can to help you get through this. Carter wasn't sure why he was opening up like this, especially to someone who might be his future boss, but it did help to talk, and Commander Voight seemed receptive. It's part of the reason I've decided to go for the job. It'll be good to have a purpose again. I think so too. I'd like to think that my children will be proud of their dad being a diplomat, Carter hoped. They'd probably be a bit surprised too. It's a noble profession. Well, I won't be brokering any peace deals or anything, but it will be satisfying to know that what I do will help towards that. Let's hope that you make a great impression and pass the test with ease, Voight encouraged. It's going to be an uphill struggle, but I hope so. I would love to stay and talk a while longer, but I do have other commitments, I'm afraid. Voight concluded. Do feel free to get in touch with me if you want any assistance with your application, or even if you just want to talk. Thank you, Commander. I appreciate that. I'll speak to you soon, I hope. Before you go, I did think of another good book. Oh, what is it? 1984 by George Orwell. It was written in the 20th century, but the author was so ahead of his time, by the time I was born, we were already living with a lot of the things he predicted. Sounds interesting. Would you say it reflects the society you lived in? Not exactly, but he did get quite a few things right. The name is familiar. I'll have to look that one up. Thank you. No problem. And once again, good luck.